This is Singapore
Yes.
calling.
Hi,
Hello.
Adrian. Hi. Hello, everyone.
Can we? You can, if you wave with your hands in the air. Roxana's got a camera where we've got a GoPro in the back. She can't see your faces, but if you all wave at her, can you see us waving at you? Good. It's like being the Eurovision Song Contest. It's like this, I'm in Singapore. So, how's India?
India is good, getting hotter day by day.
What would your temperature
Summer.
be? Does that?
Sorry, I missed you.
What is the temperature? We,
Today it's 35.
there was a groan in the room here, as you said
Oh,
that.
it's supposed to go to 42 soon.
There was a bigger groan in the room. Okay, so we just wanted to say hello so you could see there's a real life person at the end of this call. Rachana, thank you for doing the video. We're going to play that now. She's going to stay online. She can see us for the GoPro, so you can't all get up and leave because she'll know you've left. It's the proof that we're playing it out live. And then we'll see you in about 18, 20 minutes' time.
Sure.
You stay there.
Okay,
Okay, here
bye.
we go then. So what do I say? Roll telecine, roll video.
Hello, everyone. I wish I could be here in person. Thanks, Adrian, and thanks, Ron, for inviting me to speak on a subject and giving me the toughest slot to handle, which is post-lunch. I hope I keep everybody awake. The topic given to me is about the specialists. And when I think about the topic, the most asked question comes to my mind. Are specialists dead? I mean, in the last 2 years, this question has been asked multiple times by various people. And it's also because in the last 2 years, we have seen the number of agencies that have shrunk and their top lines and everything going in red. And I understand the emotion behind this question. It all stems from the worry for the growth of the industry. And I just thought about all the time that I have spent in the agency and why is this question coming again and again in the past few years. Our industry is fragmented, and some percentage of the media owners rely on the specialists for their business, but the rest do feel that the specialists do not give them attention. And I think this exactly is why this question is being asked again and again. You know, in compared to the business growth, considering the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous times that we have been facing, our industry has shown immense resilience. But are we only supposed to survive or we are supposed to grow? And what will bring us growth? I think only a demonstration of the merit of the medium, or we are just going to be used as just another impact medium. And we are seeing that, all the eminent speakers have spoken about how DOOH is on the rise, how programmatic and all the technology that is coming in our industry is making a difference and paving path for growth. But I still feel that overall our growth is stunted. If you read all the reports pre-2019, we used to see that, okay, our growth is somewhere between 5 to 6% of the overall media pie. And in fact, some of the reports that I saw in India showed that we have actually shrunk to almost just 3 to 4%. And I am sure most of our markets are seeing that. And that's the worry. Is this a decline same percentage in other markets? What about UK? What about US? What about Australia? What about Canada? No, those numbers are showing difference. They have reported stronger growth year on year, but our markets are not reporting growth. Makes me wonder, has pandemic hit us harder than them? Maybe yes, maybe in different times, maybe it's been handled differently. Okay, but I think the impact was equal everywhere. It's all about how people have looked at the situation and taken advantage of the situation. Our business is complex, and we do understand that, and it is evolving, and many people have applied various methods to tide over the COVID crisis. But I think it's time we stop blaming COVID. If you ask me, I look at COVID as a positive thing for our industry. Our industry, especially our markets, because they are fragmented, because they are unorganized, have cracks in them. And COVID exposed the cracks. Were not good. Many people suffered. But I think if we look at it, we actually got an opportunity to see where the reality lies. So, do you think we should go back to pre-COVID levels? I don't think so. Doesn't look like a happy state at all. We should look at something that gives us recovery plus double-digit growth. And only if we aim higher, only if our ambition is to achieve that, we will be able to revise our benchmarks. We will be able to improve our methods. We will look at things differently. We will engage with each other differently. Our relationships with the specialists and advertisers will change. So let's just go back and see that what has changed in the advertising landscape in the past few years. Okay, because it has a great impact on what's happening in our industry and our growth. So digital advertising has hit all new records. New formats of ad have emerged. Social media, mobile, connected TV, everything is a front runner right now. It's an era of multi-channel consumption. Every other medium is digitizing, including out of home. And what is at the center of all of this? It's audience data and engagement. All conversations are only about these two topics, and especially in the digital world where the cookies are disappearing. The question is, how do you precisely target these audiences and engage them? The best part is that the entire ad industry and the tech industry is collaboratively working towards it and busy finding solutions for it. Where does OOH stand in all of this? I think we are in the game. Most of the reports that came post-COVID mentioned that if there are only two mediums that are going to thrive, it's going to be digital and out of home. And we have been hearing all the speakers speaking about how programmatic is changing the way things, how technology is bringing people closer, how DOOH is being accepted by all the advertisers, and how COVID actually propagated that adoption faster. Some of the reports done by IOAA also mentions that in the environment of cookieless advertising, DOOH stands to gain, right? Because programmatic is a game changer. In fact, some of the markets like Germany has also reported the highest spends in digital out of home, in which programmatic has contributed substantially. But I think scenario in our market is a little different. Of course, it varies by countries, but if I were to take off our markets, I think digital out of home, yes, is bringing in growth. Programmatic is fantastic, but what is the proportion in which they are present in our market? Are they large enough in every market to make an impact on the overall growth? Is the question that always makes me think that is only focusing on DOOH or only focusing on programmatic, which is extremely important in this era, is going to give us that share of gain or that double-digit growth that we should be aiming for. So I think here is where I think the role of the specialists come, because they are not looking at the market only for DOOH or only for programmatic, right? They are looking at what is the best solution for their advertiser in OOH. But I would say, okay, so now the specialists, the core topic, they're special, right? How did they emerge? Our markets are fragmented, they are unorganized. It was very difficult for advertisers to execute a campaign of a scale. They needed somebody who can bring method to the madness, and that's how specialist emerged. The specialist came as one shop who would align everything for you, hassle-free execution, ensuring hygiene is maintained, ensuring that there are no liabilities or legalities that arise due to illegal media, or especially in out of home in our markets, are taken care of for all the advertisers. That's how they became the core of our business. Okay, but are these the only specialists that we need to talk, or who is the real specialist? In fact, I think that the way the landscape has changed of the ad industry, the way digitization has blurred the lines between mediums, okay, exactly the way lines are blurred between the servicing teams and the planning teams in the main media, large media agencies. Correct? It's no longer about having an out-of-home planner do out-of-home planning. It's about who understands the advertiser's requirement, who can walk in their shoes and understand their business requirement, who can propose them the right media mix. And what do these specialists do? They look at the merits of the medium, what are the deliverables that can be given to the advertiser, and basis that they choose what is right for the advertiser. So I think the planners in the mainline agencies have actually taken the crucial role of becoming the specialists for the advertisers. Yes, they might not understand 100% of the landscape of out-of-home, and therefore out-of-home agency specialist is their partner, right? So this planner specialist is also equally special, exactly like the outdoor specialists. So what has made so what exactly comprises, who can actually be the specialists? Group of people who have access to clients, who have invested and used tools, who are investing in data and using the first party data and third party data basis the requirements of the clients. And last but not the least, the out-of-home specialist, who is the aggregator of supply. In a digital landscape, if I were to put at it, this looks like an SSP connected to a DSP. It has all the ingredients of becoming an SSP and a DSP, right? But remember, any SSP is only as good, of course, as good as the platform. But here we are talking of manual handling of things. It's only as good as the supply that brings to the platform or to the agency. A supply that can fulfill every demand of the advertiser, deliver scale and results. That's what the specialists are. And in spite of they being at the center of our business, why do we think they are becoming dead? Or why do we think that their role is shrinking? Is because I think they face some challenges, and we need to look at these challenges. While they did come together to eliminate fragmentation in our industry, but looking at the business challenges, looking at the operational expenditure, looking at handling a P&L, ensuring that the business is green, we have realized that they have limited supply of inventory. They only deal with something that is limited in nature. They do not have ease of discovery of new formats unless somebody goes and tells them. Now that's a challenge. If you have multi-formats, only then you can deliver scale for any client. And you have already heard and you must have read in various reports that a multi-format campaign is more efficient than a single format campaign, especially in out-of-home. In fact, the last report of Australia also mentioned this. So we are talking of lack of efficacy if you do not have ease of discovery of media. We are talking of lack of industry approved metrics. Now these specialists have been working on tools, data to deliver metrics for their client, because every multinational client wants metrics, correct? Now specialists have developed it, but the issue here is that if that metrics is not industry approved, okay, it is questionable. It is open to debate by anyone. So here the specialists are trying hard to sell the medium, okay, but at the same time they're saddled with heavy investments with very less recovery methods. All of this and the competition and having no community, okay, or having lack of unity, I would say, leads to commoditization of the inventory. And we have witnessed this in our markets, over the years, and more so in COVID. I mean, the kind of discounting that we have seen in COVID is insane, to an extent that I feel that if your pricing doesn't recover, your market will never recover, right? What is the solution? Do we have a solution for this? And there is a solution. Other markets have worked on this, where they have decommoditized the medium, like a market like UK. And recently in my interaction with someone from the largest agency in UK, it was brought to notice that they moved from buying units by mere price of the unit per week to the price of the unit basis the audience that is looking at the medium, right? Now what has happened is maybe the demand has not come back to normal, but because there is a growth in audience which they're able to showcase, they're able to demand better price for the inventory better than 2019. This I think is brilliant. So what is the overall solution? I think the overall solution is organizing the fragmentation using technology, and this is available to us. We all are talking of organizing all the DOOH into platforms to build stronger SSPs so that we can fulfill the demand of the advertisers for DOOH. Exactly the same thing needs to be done for the overall out-of-home industry, irrespective of it being a classic medium or a digital medium. What happens if we do that? Ease of media discovery, improved supply, and hence visibility for all the media owners at the specialist end will give you scale for every campaign. If you build standards, it will reduce complication, it will bring ease of business and improves transparency. If we developed approved metrics or industry approved metrics, okay, on an association level, we will be able to demonstrate efficacy at every level, which builds credibility for every advertiser and improves efficiency of the campaign and therefore increased advertiser spends. And if we collaborate, if we come together and set up standard operating practices, we are decommoditizing the medium. We are showing the medium the value that it will deliver. Otherwise, what's going to happen is we are near the procurement route. Every other campaign is led by the procurement managers, and we are only looked at by price. And that is a difficult war to win if we don't apply value. Now you might say that, oh, but many of us are doing all of these things. But the problem is that there's a lot of working in silos that is happening. And silos is not the way. Collaboration, working together is the way to ensure that we are able to achieve all of the things that we want. And you would say that, okay, if we achieve that using the association, how does a specialist play a role? But media owner is the most critical portion of the industry. It's like the backbone of the industry, right? Their investments are higher, hence their stakes are extremely high. And they are the ones who are critical for the growth of the industry. But if we do all of this, we are going to empower that specialists over there. And we need specialists because 100 media owners or 1,000 media owners cannot reach a single particular client, an advertiser who's looking for a holistic solution from one agency. So it's the specialist who has the seat at the table with the advertiser. What we need to do is, if we empower them, and anyways they're working hard on proving the credibility of the medium by devising tools, by using data, by deriving metrics and everything. But if we give them something that is standardized, approved by the industry in a collaborative manner, we are helping them a lot by having a greater voice. If they have a stronger voice, they can always ask for a fair share or more share. One person cannot do it. It has to be an effort by the media owner and the specialist together, and they can make a huge difference. The issue is that we look at growth numbers from the base number of last year, or maybe in this case 2019 is also considered a base number. But I don't think we should look at that. I think we should look at growth as a percentage that we can convert from other mediums, because out of home is able to deliver better efficiencies. And I think the specialist is perfectly poised or in a position to ask for a better share for out of home from all other media format if we empower them, if we collaborate. And that's why I say, do not discount the specialists. They do have the power, okay, to make a change, and we have to collaborate to ensure that we get the collective power to make a change and bring in growth in our industry. Thank you.
Thanks, Rachana. That was absolutely brilliant. You missed a section this morning when we had Ace Tam from Yahoo, and he made the point that from the buy side, the brands want consolidation. They want one platform, ideally, where they can get access to all of the media. And for omnichannel to work, that's really kind of their end game. It's nice to hear that the specialists have a role by being that one channel, being that point of consolidation. So that was really, really nice to hear that. I'm sure the specialists are evolving how they use their tools and insights. We have a couple of specialists represented here today. And yeah, so thank you again for that. We're going to open to the floor. I can see there's a hand up in the corner there near to Adrian.
There is? Oh,
I'll pass it over to Adrian for questions.
Well done. That was lovely. Andy Hamblin from Live Do Signkick. I know you can't see him. You don't really want to see him.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Rachana. You mentioned that the specialists are kind of the aggregator of supply in the marketplace at the moment. I was just wondering how their role might change if SSPs become that aggregator in the future.
Yeah, like I said, Andy, specialists are currently their SSP. They play a role of an SSP currently in the market. All they need is a great platform. What is happening now is when a lot of platforms are coming in play and they're offering the same solution to these specialists, they actually end up becoming layers. And you're right, there is a possibility of SSPs taking over, but what matters is DOH can be executed maybe without a specialist, just by relying on a platform with data. But how will you execute classic? Specialist has an expertise to build synergies between classic and DOH, okay, and to execute them seamlessly. And that is, I think, one of the biggest forte that the specialist has today to ensure that hygiene is maintained, compliance is maintained, and data and insights are provided for both the kind of formats. And hence, I think SSPs and specialists might coexist.
Thank you. Oh, good question, Andy. I take it all back. We're seeing many technology companies who are starting a foray, if that's the right word, foray, into out-of-home. We're seeing lots of technology companies looking at out-of-home with aggregation or platform models, but they're unable, seemingly, to convert large business, large clients to their calls. We're seeing this globally. I think you and I have spoken in the past with your work with the Indian Outdoor Advertising Association. You've seen it there as well. Is there any reason why the technology companies are not understanding this?
I think it's great that technology is providing a platform for aggregation. I think it's a fantastic solution for the industry. But what matters is the authenticity of the product and the sources of the data on which that product is built for giving solutions to the advertisers. Now, the problem is that when technology is merely used for aggregation and offered to the specialist, they become a layer in between media agency or a specialist and the media owner. And I don't think many media owners appreciate that. Secondly, layers add to the cost and reduce revenues. At the end, we are in business. Everybody is here to make revenues. And if the specialists are going to lose revenues and the media owners are going to lose their importance in the game, then I think there is a reason why that is lower adoption is happening and hence lower conversion of business.
Yeah, hi Rachana. There's a question about the metrics and maybe the old-fashioned metrics that we kind of associate with the specialist hygiene versus kind of the technology-driven metrics that we're getting today. Do you have any comment about that, whether the specialists are really in the right place to go up another step to be, the provider of the audience metrics or the media metrics for the buy side?
So the specialists are working a lot on providing metrics and audience-related metrics. I think where they are missing out is the base currency, which is a common currency which any media owner, a large one or a small one, is able to use. Currently, what is happening is that every specialist is working in silos to develop metrics, and their base data is varied. And of course, the claims are all of them is proprietary data. But when you have a base data which is questionable or which is not coming from an industry source, the rest of the entire matrix falls down. So I think on an association level, I mean, that's what is the work that we are also doing in India is, can we provide a common currency which even a smallest of the small media owner, a static media owner or a DOH media owner is able to use for that, for his location. And that base currency is used by the specialists to build in additional audience layers that is required for every advertiser. I think if we work on such a model, that would, get more success and that will get more acceptability between the advertiser fraternity. Otherwise, right now, most of the time there are debates are only if your traffic numbers are right, or if agency A has submitted X number, agency Y has submitted Y number, and what is the authenticity, and nobody can really validate it. So I think having an industry approved common base currency, I'm not talking audience currency or as a base currency, base currency like an OTS, okay, if provided, I think it will make developing audience-led solutions for agencies hassle-free.
Perfect. Thank you for that. I think the answer is very, very clear. An industry association is probably in the best place to have this currency. It shouldn't be in a silo of one specialist versus another or whoever. And it's a shame. I think Chloe had to leave us this afternoon, but Chloe from AAMS was saying something very similar for Singapore. I know the Indian market is a bit different to the Singapore market, but your model is very similar to Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam. It is a very fragmented marketplace. Thank you so much. It really has been a pleasure. And we hope to see you in person next time.
Sure, I would love to be in person. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Ron, and thank you, Adrian, for arranging this.
Thank you.